And we're live. Welcome to all the people looking at the live or the replay, because no one's seeing this right now because I haven't tweeted out anything. So to anyone who's looking at replay, even though we're talking about stuff that probably already happened, welcome.
Welcome.
Nick's going to talk to you while I tweet out some links. So yeah. Nick, say hi to everybody. Tell them how your weekend has been going so far.
What is up, everybody? Weekend has been going fairly okay. Michigan State dropped the ball yesterday, and that was kind of tough to watch. But the Alabama-LSU game gave us something to watch that was crazy. So that was a lot of fun. I posted up solo style, Han Solo at the bar, and just watched the games while a band was rocking out behind me. And took one too many shots, but I'm here right now, and I'm feeling good. I'm ready to talk through fantasy football. Hopefully I don't throw up throughout this show.
That would be good.
We'll know why, because I drink.
All right, we got links out now.
Links out. I'm retweeting it right now.
The links are out, so people actually start to come in, and we'll actually be talking to humans rather than the people that are living in the past.
Well,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Exactly, man. There's nothing wrong with people living in the past.
Michael Stepney already retweeted out. That guy's like on the ball.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. So we're going to give a chance to everybody to kind of file in here before we actually start rolling in anything semi-important to possibly important.
You like the Lions to take down the Bears today with Jeff Driscoll at quarterback?
I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of that game.
I don't either, to be all honest. All I know is I want the under. I don't think Driscoll's going to be able to do much. We don't have a run game. That's the only way to beat Chicago.
I think Jeff Driscoll leads the Lions in rushing today.
That's very possible, actually. Yes. That is which is horrible, but very possible because we don't have any running backs. Ty Johnson is not a running back. I'm sorry.
So terrible. So this is FF Mercenaries. Everyone knows we do consulting. So I actually have a client texting me right now, and they come first before everyone else. So I have to check out what they're or whatever. This is anonymous. So my client is worried about Marvin Jones with Driscoll starting.
Me too.
As you should be. As you should be. Kenny Golladay, you should be really worried about. You can't do anything about that one. No. Marvin Jones, though. I mean, how do you feel? How confident do you feel here? I mean, the only good thing is, the Bears, they're going to have to throw. The Lions are going to have to throw against the Bears. So, I mean, if you have Marvin Jones with Driscoll, I mean, I would say that he's very, very close to the bottom of whatever list I would have streaming today.
Yeah, in our charity league, I have Marvin Jones, but I'm actually sitting him for another Lion, though. I got more faith in Danny Amendola with Driscoll in there.
Yeah, and Hawkinson would be a good play today, too.
And Hawkinson's not bad either. Those are the two safety nets that is going to be needed by Driscoll when it gets to the point where they're going to have to pass the ball. So I don't mind those two so much, but Marvin Jones is your that's that Matt Stafford luxury because that's the deep ball threat. And just Driscoll doesn't give you that. So I'm not overly hyped about Golladay or Marvin Jones, but in fact, I don't mind Danny Amendola. I'm not trying to advertise that other people should go out and start him. I'm just saying in comparison,
everybody started Danny Amendola, everybody.
Yeah, right, exactly. And if he goes off for 100 yards, I definitely did advertise that.
Yeah. So, yes, Matthew Stafford's out. I don't know what all the reports are. There's some reports they're reporting the Stafford injury. They're like, oh, after he had some early career injuries, he's been a beacon of health since. No. I mean, I've seen this written everywhere. He's out with a back injury, which he had literally that ruined his last season. So this is nothing new, and this is a real concern for today and the rest of the season. I mean, with the way that the Lions kind of have sort of punted the season, would you be surprised if Stafford didn't even suit up again?
He better not, to be honest. And this is, as a Lions fan, I 1,000% do not want to see him out on that field. I understand he's Mr. Ironman. He hasn't missed a game since 2010. 16 games. But this is this is a back, man. This isn't like, oh, you might hurt your left arm for the rest of your life. Like, that's a bummer. This could literally paralyze you. And to get you can't take a wrong hit. There is no reason to put him out on a team that's going nowhere. I mean, we have a pretty nice schedule, and the opportunity, I guess, was still somewhat there for us to make the playoffs. But we would have to lose or win every single game and lose one. We got the Cowboys 2 against the Bears, 1 against the Vikings, 1 against the Packers. It's just pretty much unrealistic that the Lions make the playoffs. So I don't think they need to put him back in. However, I also have him on like 10 of my fantasy teams. So if he doesn't come back, bummer for me.
Yeah, so Jeff Driscoll, he's definitely one of those quarterbacks. Everyone's used to these the backups coming in and doing okay. Jeff Driscoll's not one of those guys. If you're in Superflex, this is one of those quarterbacks where you're starting a skill position player. Oh, you're only starting him if you have to. Like if it's there's a spot where you actually have to put a quarterback, or if it's Superflex thing where you actually are going to start a second one or a 2 quarterback league or something like that. But other than that, if you can avoid it, you're going to avoid this, right?
Agreed. 100%. Yes. I would feel more comfortable starting guys like Ryan Finley, to be all honest, against Baltimore than I would Jeff Driscoll against Chicago. Or is Brandon Allen playing? Denver's not playing this week, are they? They're going to buy him. So, yeah. But like Brandon Allen, any other given week over Jeff Driscoll, like those are quarterbacks I would much rather. Brian Hoyer, I would start over Jeff Driscoll. Like all these guys for sure.
Before we actually get to Brian Hoyer, we'll talk about him next. Jack in the chat. What's up, Jack? Mark Ingram or Todd Gurley today?
Mark Ingram or Todd Gurley, you said?
Yeah.
I got to go Mark Ingram against Cincy, personally. I'll take the first one right out of it. It's just the matchup's too good.
And Bengals, NFL's worst rush defense.
Exactly.
And Baltimore, NFL's best run offense.
Right. Well, actually somewhat scares me though, right? Doesn't it kind of seem like as much last time they played each other, we did our bold predictions and I predicted Mark Ingram to get 4 touchdowns.
Well, the thing is you can't shy away from it. Yeah, they could Gus Edwards will probably get involved but you can't shy away from Ingram though. I mean, could something bad happen? Sure. Yeah. I mean, they be up big and he's not involved? Sure. Right. But Lamar Jackson was coming off a little bit of an illness. So there's a pretty decent chance that he's less aggressive in this one, and they kind of let the backs kind of shoulder the load. So you can't shy away from Ingram. He's your guy. Yeah,
and who we were debating him or Todd Gurley, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and Gurley playing Pittsburgh. I'm just not the biggest fan of that matchup. Give me Ingram all day, easily.
All day, every day. We talked about Brian Hoyer. We already talked about Matthew Stafford. So Jacoby Brissett is out. Even though it looked kind of promising that he was going to start after he got injured, it looked like he was definitely going to be out, and then all of a sudden he was going to play, and now he's definitely out. They're calling him week to week. Brian Hoyer is in. He's not like Jeff Driscoll. He's actually quite usable. He did very well, but T.Y. Hilton is still out. It's still a downgrade for everyone else. So what do you think of Brian Hoyer? In Superflex, I think he's definitely a guy you can certainly throw out there, even with Hilton out. The only issue is this is Marlon Mack's team right now. It has Marlon Mack written all over it, especially today's matchup. So how do you feel against starting Hoyer today? And then, Pascal, the main streaming guy, how do you feel about him going forward?
Yeah. I don't mind Pascal moving forward per se. Today,
and more today.
Yeah. All right. And that match against Miami is beautiful. Like it's succulent. You want everything to do with it. But
succulent.
The fact of the matter is it's Marlon Mack's show. And I'm not like, it's going to be a toss up who catches the 1 touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns that Hoyer throws, whether it's Pascal, Chester Rogers, Ebron, Doyle, Marlon Mack. Like there's a plethora of people that it's just a coin flip. Who knows? So I like Pascal more than everyone. I think Chester Rogers is a sneaky play if you're really in like desperate need or in deep leagues. But Doyle and Mack are the only 2 players that I'm really starting this week with confidence for Indianapolis.
All right, going down the rest of the board here. AJ Green, most assumed he was out for the season.
Not me.
Well, here's the thing. He didn't get traded, and then he said he likes Cincinnati. He didn't want to be traded. I don't know. I don't know if he just loves living there. I don't know. I've never been to Cincinnati. Maybe he likes the skyline chili. If no one knows what that is, look it up. But he's apparently they're rethinking him being out for the year, and they're hoping that he can come back. What's the point? What's the point here for AJ Green at this point?
There is.
I mean, is you just want to just kind of build up as much value as you can? The Bengals have nothing to gain. They want the number 1 pick probably at this point. He's going to leave, no doubt. I mean, unless he really loves Cincinnati, like he says. But he wants to obviously build up some value in free agency. I mean, what AJ Green, if you own him in Dynasty or whatever, redraft, I don't know what the hell you do here. Or either. I mean, this is a guy you're just trading. Like now they're like, hey, he's coming back. Are you just trying to trade him for anything you could possibly get?
No one's like, you would literally be trading him for like Detroit's defense. Like you wouldn't get anything in return for AJ Green at this point. And it's at the verge where I'm about to just drop him. I'm about to just drop him. And
they should trade AJ Green to Carolina for Cam Newton. That's what they should have done earlier in the season.
Yeah, Cam Newton, he's not playing for Carolina anymore. He's done, dude. I doubt he's ever going to play in that jersey again.
Well, didn't they already didn't the reports come out today that they are going to be moving on from him?
I didn't see any official reports that they were.
Official. I don't think that there won't be anything official.
Right? Definitely everyone's been talking about it all over the shows this morning.
But, yeah, AJ Green. Let's say you own Erickson, you own the rest of the guys on the team. Like, you can't really – there's no actionable information that is worth using here, right?
No. I mean, who do you like better, Alex Erickson or Auden Tate this week?
Auden Tate.
Why?
Gut feeling, nothing else. There's nothing you can actually say that could convince me one way or the other.
Right.
Because it fluctuates and there's no data that is actually useful in how this could turn out with their new quarterback in there.
Exactly. And to be honest, though, I think it's going to be Alex Erickson just for the fact that Ryan Finley has probably thrown more passes in practice to Alex Erickson than Auden Tate. Auden Tate's been repping with the ones more, that you give like I'm just saying. I think Alex Erickson and Ryan Finley might have a sneaky connection that no one has seen because we haven't been able to see it. But
I would expect Tyler Eifert to actually have a decent game here.
Well, good luck with it.
Final, what is it? Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lazy analysis is what it is. The rookie quarterback against with a bad offensive line, he's going to look to dump off the ball. So it's an easy call to make, but there's not much on Ryan Finley. We'll see what's going on with him. Juju Smith-Schuster expected to play. Antonio Brown will not be back this season. What a shocker. Whatever. This is just on the newswire, so we're reading it, but there's nothing to dive in there at all. To the Jets here. Le'Veon Bell, it looks like he is questionable. I would assuming he's not going to play. Do you like Ty Montgomery or Bilal Powell?
I don't like him. I don't.
I think you only start him if you're in a bye week crisis and there's literally nobody else and you're looking at backups. They're obviously a little better than hoping for a backup to get some snaps.
Agreed. Would you rather start either of them or Ty Johnson?
Ty Johnson.
Me too.
You know what? Because I'd rather still start a guy like Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison over him. You know?
Would you really?
I would. I'm expecting nothing out of these two.
This is like if Bell not playing, right? This is what we're speaking.
Yeah. Bell's not playing.
If Bell's not playing, I probably would go with someone that's I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably go with one of the Jets running backs over Madison, personally.
Yeah, well, you can't get too psyched about it, kind of no matter what. Chris Herndon is going to play. I mean, I believe it when I see it, but he's expected to play. Ryan Griffin has actually done pretty damn well. As well as Ryan Griffin can do with the unbelievably horrible Sam Darnold up there at quarterback. Chris Herndon, though, I mean, tight end's a cesspool. Chris Herndon in 3 solid weeks could probably work his way into being a tight end 1 for the year. That's how bad tight ends have been. So Chris Herndon is completely startable this week, but in a streaming situation. But with how bad the Jets have looked, is he a guy that you consider rostering and kind of trying to start forward?
Not really. I mean, you would have asked me this question after Sam Darnold went and beat the Cowboys. I'd have been like, hell, freaking yes. But you're asking me this the week after they lost to the fucking Dolphins. So, no, I can't trust anyone on that Jets offense right now. I had faith in Robbie Anderson. I had faith in no one other than Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell should be rostered from this team. But I understand what you're saying because the tight end position is so shitty. If you're out here, like OJ Howard's a pretty good start this week, but like if you have OJ Howard as your starting tight end still, or if you're rocking Mr. Eric Ebron, or if you have something of no value, sure, take the chance on Herndon. It's not going to harm you. But if you got like Darren Fells, if you got, your Mark Andrew or your top 6 guys. Yeah, you're not trying to take, but back 6, I guess I can see it, but I would have to see it before I believe it. So I'm not rostering him right now.
Can we reflect on a moment that we just said that Darren Fells is unreplaceable?
Darren Fells is unreplaceable right now. He is a top 5, 6 tight end or whatever.
I know. It's just that's where we are. I kind of like it.
I kind of like it.
Amari Cooper, you can't sit him. He is going to play. I don't expect good things out of him, though. Xavier Rhodes is on him. He's coming. This is a game maybe he shouldn't even be playing in. He's in a contract year, though, so he'll obviously be trying his very hardest. I don't know. There's nothing really to say there. I mean, you have Amari Cooper. You're starting him always.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
starting him always.
They're always starting him.
Going into a couple of guys that are not going to help you this week, but for anyone looking to make a push, trade deadlines, some have passed, some are coming up this week. This is obviously a huge push to the playoffs. Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks are expected to be back for week 11. Are these guys you're trying to ship away? Let's just say you are contending and someone else is you're trying to make some moves. Are these guys you're trying to trade away to try to get whatever you can? Or are these people you're trying to maybe buy at a discount to try to put you over the edge? Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks.
I'm not trying to buy either of those guys, even at a discounted rate. I don't know, man. They both seem like Brandon Cooks doesn't seem like he's in an offense that the Rams were last year. Without Todd Gurley there, the Rams offense is nothing more than just a funnel to Cooper Kupp. That's it. That's the end. And then when it gets to Will Fuller, even when healthy, Kenny Stills is kind of coming in at least just taking away targets. Darren Fells is taking away targets. Hopkins hasn't even gotten going yet. This team is winning, but that Will Fuller, you're going to get one more week where he's going to catch 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. And sure, I hope you have him for that week, and I hope you're starting him. But outside of that, you're just going to be chasing points. You're going to be chasing the dragon left and right. You're going to lose because of it, and his 4 points is going to kill you in the playoffs or down the home stretch. So, no, I'm not trying to buy either of them. If I can sell them, I definitely will, both of them. But I've rostered Will Fuller a lot this year in a lot of my leagues, and I still have him in quite a few of them, but I'm not happy about it. And I'm not advising anybody to get him. That's for sure.
I'd be more excited about trying to acquire Will Fuller than I would be Brandon Cooks for the reasons you said. Even when he's completely healthy, this hasn't been like it was last year. So Will Fuller, you got to totally expect what the downside is, but you can also acquire him for a hell of a lot cheaper because of it. So I'm fine trying to go and get Will Fuller, but Brandon Cooks I would ignore. The Tennessee Titans, Delaney Walker is still out. Corey Davis is out. I don't know if it's a fake injury. Or he's just, I don't know. Either way, he's out. Other than Jonnu continuing to be amazing, is there anything you like there in Tennessee with those 2 guys out?
Yeah. Wait, who are the 2 guys out? Who's the first guy?
Corey Davis, Delaney Walker.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I love A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown's going to be a very good streamer this week. I mean, obviously going up against Kansas City, which you want to be able to run the ball. But if Pat Mahomes comes out and whips out 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, you're going to have to pass the ball. Tannehill has shown, maybe not favoritism towards A.J. Brown, but has shown that he's not shying away from the rookie. Had a couple of good games strung together, a couple of good games now. So I don't mind him. I don't mind him as a streamer. I'm starting him this week in a deep league that with a lot of bias, so I have no problem with him. But that's it. I'm not starting Jay Sharp or anything.
Something that's kind of confusing that has been for weeks. David Johnson. He's not on the final injury report. He's going to play.
Great. I liked it better when he was, and I could just start the backup and know I could get points from him.
What are we expecting out of Kenny and Drake DJ? What do we think the split is going to be here? I mean, I'm hoping that they almost did like the Packers. I don't know, the Packers just abandoned it last week. I know that a couple weeks ago it was a big thing where they wanted to use Aaron Jones as a receiver against the Chiefs, and that worked out really well. I wish they would have just went back to the well because it looked amazing, kind of lining him up as a wide receiver. I would love to see Arizona do that with DJ. Let Drake kind of take the carries and, well, I mean, they'll still split somewhat, but try to line up DJ as a wide receiver a lot more and try to use them both because they're, could be pretty dangerous. I mean, do you think that they'll do that, or am I hoping too much out of the Cardinals doing something that could actually be helpful?
I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I truly don't. I don't know how to even predict it. I'm starting David Johnson because it's Tampa Bay, and this point total should go through the roof. So I'm trying to kind of get everything I can out of this game, but I don't have any faith in David Johnson. I feel like Kenyon Drake is just going to come in and steal carries and thus kind of 86ing both of them. Whoever finds the end zone, that's going to be the one you want. And I can't guarantee it's going to be David Johnson. It easily could be Kenyon Drake. So I'm not starting Kenyon Drake. I am starting David Johnson. I'm not excited about anything or either of them here, but I am excited about this game and the fantasy value this game presents. So I'm trying to start a lot of the players from this game. I guess even the Cardinals defense isn't the worst play.
No, but I'm going to be staying away from that one. This is the thing that's a nightmare, and actually it's something I have to deal with this week. George Kittle did not practice again Friday. He's playing on Monday, which is always the fucking worst, right? What do you do? Because you can't, like I said, there's some interesting guys that maybe you could try to stream. You kind of try to stream today, but you're not going to like try to start some stiff and then George Kittle plays and then you're all sad. So what are your real options there? The I guess the obvious thing for some people would be to go out and grab George Kittle's backup, but that's if George Kittle's not there, the tight end position doesn't exist for San Francisco. It's not like
pushing it at all to their tight end.
Who?
Seattle.
Yes, that is the move. Jacob Hollister, which, by the way, it's like most people would assume that because I think he hasn't been the guy so far, but I think that the way that he's played recently, and all reports are that he's going to kind of step up and be more involved. Last week he had 4 catches for 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't expect that, but this is a much better option than going the other side of the coin with San Francisco, because you can't start anyone over George Kittle on Sunday. Therefore, you are left trying to switch at the very end on Monday night. So I think Hollister is your only move there if you're a George Kittle fan. He's a guy you must roster because you can't take a 0.
You can't, but it sucks because that means one of those bench guys, one of those guys you've been rostering, waiting, just waiting. Now you got to drop them.
Although, you could say this. If you are pushing to the playoffs and you have a really healthy record, you got to make that call. But if this is a do or die week, like it is for many people, that is just something you're gonna have to cut and run. And said you can't. If you happen to have another decent option, one that you were somewhat happy with, going into today's game. We said Tyler Eifert. There's not really that many really good ones. If you had like even a Jared Cook or Chris Herndon, is there anyone you would feel confident starting at all and just assuming Kittle doesn't play, or are you just kind of roll the Hollister route?
Outside of and we're talking about guys that streaming outside, I would.
Here we go. OJ Howard was dropped. Do you start him at versus Arizona?
I do start OJ Howard over George Kittle. And even if it's like a must win, like I like this matchup enough, so I don't mind OJ Howard.
How about Mike Gesicki at Indianapolis Colts?
Yeah, I can't do that.
No, me either. I'm going the Hollister route. I own George Kittle a couple places. I have Hollister everywhere. I'll be making that switch if I need to. He's already on my team. But
I was looking at tight ends. Will Dissly, still a top 12 tight end.
Yeah.
He's number 11 in PPR.
Chris Herndon, he's coming for you after after 2 games. He's going to get there. And the last thing, James Conner, he's out. Jalen Samuels is in.
You're wearing the Packers jersey. Where is Jimmy Graham? How does Jimmy Graham not have more points than Will Dissly right now? Like, what is going on?
I'll tell you why. Actually, there's a very good reason. He sucks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, he's garbage. He's awful. Right. And yeah, he's
I just needed to hear it out of the what's that saying? Out of the blank mouth. I can't remember what that's saying.
The horse's mouth.
Horse's mouth. Is that? Well, I don't want to call you a horse, but
that's the saying.
I just want to hear it out of the Packers fans' mouth, I guess.
Right out of the cheese's mouth.
Right out of the cheese's mouth.
So, yeah, Connor's out. Samuel's in. Don't overthink that one. He has literally no one to worry about. It'll be the Jalen Samuels show, even though it's –
Whoa. You don't think Trey Edmonds is going to come in here? And
he's actually injured, I believe.
No, he's healthy. He's going. And he had more carries than Samuels. Samuels just got bailed out because he had 12 receptions. Do we see another 12 reception game for Jalen? Because if not – then all of a sudden, is Edmonds a better start than Samuels? Like,
I don't think so. And I'm trying to look it up. I thought Trey Edmonds was injured. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I've just
I'm not saying that he's like out, but he was injured all week, was he not? With a rib injury.
Correct, but he no longer carries the questionable tag on ESPN Fantasy Football app, so I have to assume he's playing. It doesn't say out or
Well, the Rams have been significantly better against the run than they have the pass, although that was before they got Jalen Ramsey. I don't know. I'm starting Samuels. I'm not starting Edmonds. That's my opinion.
I agree. I don't know. I mean, especially in PPR, yes, but in standard, I'm giving it to Edmonds. I'm not scared to say it.
Standard doesn't exist in my mind, so I will give you that one. I just don't even consider it. Is that a thing? Do people still do that? I
don't think so, but I feel like I should at least still say it sometimes because God knows there is still one person out there. And
I think Standard died when ESPN switched because that's like I want to call him a fossil because everyone hates on ESPN. I actually love them. I love the UI. I think Sleeper's kind of going to get there with taking over at some point, but they still have tons of way to go. But ESPN is still the king of UI. They have, they do not care about you though. No offense to anyone who works at ESPN. It's not a priority list to make that thing flow really well. It's awful for Dynasty, but for redraft, it's still good. But when they switched to PPR, Standard died.
Yeah, once the default switched over, I agree with that 100%. But there are still Standard leagues out there. So for anyone who hasn't turned us off because we just bashed Standard so much and you are still listening, I'm starting Trey Evans over Samuels there.
Here's the thing. There's plenty of people that hate PPR, which I understand why. I mean, it is an unnatural way to balance things out. And I think tiered PPR is a much better way to go.
Exactly. Your charity league is perfect. I'm pretty sure. Isn't it charity where it's 0.5, 1, and 1.5?
Yeah, we do 0.5 for wide receivers, 1 for running back, 1.5 for tight ends. Exactly. And that's worked out pretty damn good. And we do the minus 4, -6 for the interceptions for quarterbacks.
Which is the best, dude. It is literally just the best. Well done, sir. Kudos. You set up a good league, man. I'm excited.
We'll be back next year. It's going to be fantastic. So that's kind of all the news items. We could start breaking into game by game the things that we didn't actually completely cover here. And we can actually start with a game that we talked about a little bit. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore favored by 10 last time I checked. Hollywood Brown is questionable in this one. And Lamar Jackson is coming off an illness. So all those things combined, you're starting Mark Ingram, you're starting Gus Edwards, you're starting Mark Andrews, you're starting Lamar Jackson. I don't know. I mean, is there anything here that isn't obvious in this matchup? I mean, it's Cincinnati. Who are you starting? It's Cincinnati versus Baltimore in this one, who will probably be up big. And Cincinnati, Baltimore's proven they can be thrown on. So, I mean, who do you like starting here in Cincinnati? Just assuming you have a general depth like that, like most standard teams.
I am starting Alex Erickson in a couple of my leagues this week. We already touched on that a little bit. I don't mind Auden Tate, and obviously I don't mind Tyler Boyd. That's it. I'm not starting Joe Mixon. I'm not starting Ryan Finley. I'm not starting Tyler Eifert. But I don't mind those wide receivers. Here's the thing. You always got to remember, too, this quarterback doesn't have film yet. They don't have a ton of film on him in the NFL outside of a few preseason games, and that's it.
I would expect him to lose badly and put up a good fantasy game.
I don't mind him. Like, it's tough for defenses to get a grasp on some quarterbacks sometimes when they don't have a lot of film to go on. So I don't mind him going out there and throwing 2 picks, 3 touchdowns, 285 yards, and 55 times, because that's just what it's been happening in Cincinnati. That is what you do in Cincinnati this year. So
it would be great if they pretend like Giovanni Bernard existed.
Yeah, well, they don't.
None of that extension changed nothing.
They just drafted 2 running backs, and yet they can't even get it's not the running backs, it's the offensive line. Offensive line sucks. And you just be able to pass it to the running backs too. Like, come on, man. But I'm not starting Joe Mixon. No.
Yeah. Buffalo Bills at hold on. We have the line here real quick. Baltimore Ravens at -10 at the Bengals. Is there any way the Bengals try to cover this?
Well, let's not forget last time they played 23-17 was the score. Now it was kickoff touchdown to start the game for Cincinnati. Nothing at all until the 2-minute warning when they went down and put down another touchdown. Is it possible for them to cover this with Ryan Finley? Absolutely it is. And to be all honest, I'm a little bit nervous that they do. So what I've done is tease down Baltimore with a few other games and got them down to -4.5. And that I think is easily coverable. But so throwing in a couple teasers, them with I can't remember who I put them in particularly with. I think I put the Jets at +9 then, and I think a couple other. But so I
mean, it's in Cincinnati. It's a division game. Mm-hmm. Hollywood's banged up. Lamar's sick. It's one of those games where the Ravens will be in control the whole time, be running the clock down. Cincinnati could probably come back in garbage time and just it's a bad one. It's a bad line, and I'm not really touching that one. Yeah, Bills at Browns. You got the Bills here, or you got the Browns at home actually favored by 2. Which is not really being favored when you're at home. It's basically a flip of a coin. Mm-hmm. The Bills looks really solid to begin. They've struggled a little bit. I mean, I love Buffalo in this one. I don't care if it's in Cleveland. Sorry to all my Cleveland fans who are listening. The Browns absolutely have to win this game. Otherwise, people are getting fired for sure. Is there anything here from a fantasy perspective that jumps off the page? I mean, Cleveland, you don't even know who to start here. You got maybe the last week you can be even confident starting Nick Chubb with Kareem Hunt on the prowl.
Kareem Hunt like taken over or anything like that, or even
I think he might bite into it. I don't know. I shouldn't say start. I should start with confidence. You're going to start Chubb no matter what. Yeah. But I think Hunt could jump in there and just be like a Jamal Williams type pain in the ass. Yeah,
I can see that. The Browns, I mean, I'm not confident starting OBJ. That's for darn sure.
Can't be, right? I mean, he's going to be getting I think the best cornerback in all of football still resides in New England with Stephon Gilmore, but Tre'Davious.
Buffalo Bill.
And Tre'Davious, I think, is the second best. He's a guy that maybe doesn't jump out in like IDP because he's one of those guys no one throws at, kind of like Darrelle Revis, where you just don't understand his greatness because he's so good, no one even bothers throwing his way. So that's not going to be good news. So
so I'm not confident. Baker Mayfield has yet to throw 2 touchdowns in a game, right?
Yeah,
he's thrown 1 or less touchdowns every single game this year.
I have in the charity league, Superflex. I own Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo. I am starting Jimmy Garoppolo this week. Yeah. I am not starting a second quarterback. Baker Mayfield is on my bench. I'm starting, I don't know, Curtis Samuel against Green Bay instead or something like that. And I'm not totally thrilled about that one either. But Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Jacoby Brissett. I'm thinking, why are you not starting Jacoby Brissett? That's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would have. I was very bummed when that came out. Yeah. By the way, 9-1.
Yeah.
8-1 in that one.
I'm glad you got a loss, though. I'm 5-4. Still,
hold on. I'm not. Never mind. I am 9-0. I am 9-0.
I knew you were too, and I was like, "Dang, I must have misread something."
I'm facing this week. I got the fantasy footballers. I'm facing the fantasy 5 this week. Projected to win. Does anyone look at all their matchups and look at the projections and feel good, even though they mean nothing? You look at the projections. All right, I'm projected to win.
In the projection, I'm feeling confident going in. It literally means nothing because
Atlanta at the Saints. The Saints are favored by almost 13, like 12.5. You start everyone like normal here. Matt Ryan.
I'm taking the Bills to cover that.
The Bills to cover. Oh yeah, I think the Bills are just going to win. So yes, yeah. Falcons at Saints 12.5. There's nothing here. You're starting everybody, right? Is there anyone you are actually sitting? I mean, I don't want to start Devontae Freeman. Other than that, you kind of. I mean, the Kamara, Latavius Murray is a little bit of a nightmare, but if you own them against the Falcons, you're starting both, right?
Yeah, I mean, you still. I don't feel confident starting Latavius Murray.
Well, the way running back is, if you have Latavius Murray, it's probably very hard to sit him. I mean, if you're sitting him, you probably have an obvious reason. I mean, How many real coin flips are there? Like, you're starting him over
Jalen Samuels?
No. I think Jalen Samuels is a slam dunk start. He shouldn't sit anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Even in a tougher matchup.
Trying to guide the line. Sorry, I was a little high. All right, okay.
So, I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
The reason, also another reason I like Latavius in this one a lot is I think the Saints are going to be up by quite a fucking bit.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So, because of that, though, is Ted Ginn a good start? I've been trying to tell myself that Ted Ginn is a good sneaky play this week. And he was like, instead of Alex Erickson, he was one I was battling. Do I start Ted Ginn or Alex Erickson? I've gone with Alex Erickson.
I'd start Erickson in that one. No. I like all the Falcons just for garbage time.
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, this is a good game for fantasy. -12 though.
Go ahead.
I mean, Falcons are bad, and it's in New Orleans. The garbage time always scares me with Matt Ryan. He's not a good quarterback, but he loves coming back from behind. So, but it's one I won't touch. But if I gun to my head, I'd pick in the Saints to cover the 12.5.
It's another one that I'm going to tease down. Like I would tease this with the what are we talking about? The Ravens one. So if I can get them both down 6 points, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm still going to take the Saints though. I got the Saints winning this one pretty handily, 31-14. So I'm going to give it to the Saints.
Yep. New York Giants at the New York Jets. Jets at Giants. The Giants are actually favored in this one in a road game, -1.5. It's basically a battle of who sucks the most. Adam Gase is a ridiculous embarrassment. The Giants defense is really terrible, but the Jets offense is really awful. Mm-hmm. What do you think of this one? Because I got nothing. I mean, I think the Giants will win. Mm-hmm. Some kind of really sad score like 17-14. But from a fantasy perspective here, I mean, start everyone like you normally would, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely chalk. I'm definitely not trying to like get cute with anything. Slayton could be a start with Ingram out. You got Shepard out, right? So
yep.
Slay. Oh my God.
Yeah, Tate and Slayton.
Slayton, Tatum, doesn't matter. All of them, everyone.
But I do want nothing to do with the Jets backups if Bell is out. I know you said you'd be somewhat interested. I don't want any part of that.
Giants just have a bad defense. So here's my thought on this game. Different. I think the Jets come to win this game. I think they're embarrassed. I think they're going to come out and be able to prove that they are not an embarrassment, at least worse than the Giants.
Their talent-wise, they're not nowhere near as bad as they seem.
That's what I'm saying.
They could turn on the Jets in this one and go off. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Herndon and Robbie and Crowder all had huge games. I wouldn't bet on it, but it wouldn't shock me.
So I think this game's high scoring. I think this game's going to be a solid 33-31 victory for the Jets. And I think that we're going to see some touchdowns out. I think we're going to see Robbie Anderson break out. I think Crowder's going to have a great game. I think you're going to want to start Slay. I keep doing that. Slayton, Tay, and Barkley, all those guys. I'm starting everybody. Fire it up. Let's go.
Yep. I agree with you. Other than the Ty Powell thing, I'm not touching that. I'm starting everyone else.
Depends on what your team looks like. If you're like cruising for a bruising and you just need some running back right now, you got J.D. McKissick in your lineup or something like that. Yeah, go get one of them. But other than that, no, I'm not.
And I think one of maybe the sneaky good game to watch today is the Chiefs at Titans.
Tannehill.
I really don't know what to expect in this one. Patrick Mahomes is back.
A lot of Derrick Henry is what I'm projecting.
Oh no, I mean as far as an outcome, I'll go ahead and take the Chiefs. Something like
I got the
27-21.
Yeah, well, what's the line? 6.5. I think they're going to cover that line. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. So I'll go 20. I'll go 28-20. Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that Damian Williams is, I guess, finally on a good track. Not that he's obviously a great play against the Titans, but he's actually kind of stood up, and he's a guy with the way running back has looked, is a guy you just have to start every week going forward until he bites you in the ass again. And then you probably have to start him after that again anyway.
And the Titans are, correct me if I'm wrong, they're one of the worst teams when it comes to allowing opposing running backs to catch the ball against them and do well against them.
Yes.
So just, a little bit like, I don't mind Damian Williams this week. I'm not telling anyone to start Damian Williams, and I haven't been telling anyone to start Damian Williams, and I won't in the future. But this week, I don't mind starting him at all. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I actually think I always said 27-21. I think the Titans are still slightly underrated, but
I do. I bet this is a good game. I bet this is like 21-20 with like 4 minutes to go in the game, and then the Chiefs get a touchdown, and the Titans, Tannehill can't do it in the final.
The big worry for me is Titans have a really banged up secondary. You're starting Tyreek Hill no matter what, but he could really abuse them and kind of put this thing away.
I just traded. Tell me what you think about this trade. I traded Keenan. This was 2 weeks ago, so Keenan Allen was doing a little bit better, but Keenan Allen and Damian Williams for Tyreek Hill.
Well, say that one again.
I traded away Keenan Allen and Damian Williams and received Tyreek Hill.
This is dynasty or redraft?
Redraft. What do you think? Yay, nay? I love it.
No, yeah, I'd go with yay. Keenan has been, I mean, in redraft for sure. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, redraft.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Keenan, God. I really wish when there was rumors earlier on that they were going to try to trade him. And as a Packers fan, we got nobody but Keenan. I love Keenan, so I always hate to trade him, but in redraft, that's the move. All right, here's the snooze fest of the day. Detroit at Chicago. Chicago actually favored in this one, 2.5. I don't know what it ended up being now. It probably moved since the Stafford injury.
7.
Is 7. Yeah. So this is gonna be a low scoring, really crappy game. Chicago is interesting because after Matt Nagy admitted he was inept, David Montgomery was unleashed, and I think he's a fantastic play in this one. Allen Robinson, you're kind of like forced to start every week because he's talent-wise, he's matchup proof, but his quarterback is just so awful. But how do you feel about the Bears side for now? I mean, David Montgomery's a must start. You got to be prepared to take your 0. Mike Davis was released though, so at least that kind of shows you that they are all in and giving him the shot. So he's finally a must start, which is nice. How do you feel about the rest of the Bears in this one, which is probably going to be like a kind of a slow bleeding death to watch?
I got the Bears taking this game down a solid 21-10. I think David.
How do the Lions get their 10? Tell us afterwards.
All right, I'll tell you how they get them after. 5 fucking safeties.
Chicago did lose 4 straight, and Detroit with a new quarterback in there. This is like, this more happens in baseball. When a baseball team like has a huge injury, the guy who replaces them ends up taking you down. This is like one of those things. The Bears have lost 4 straight. It's in Chicago. I see Detroit winning this game, but in reality, Chicago's
I'm actually not betting on this game. I want to bet Bears heavy, but I'm not betting on this game because I easily could see that, but I don't know if that's the homer in me. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad someone else said that. But realistically here, like I said, I've met Stafford in a ton of my leagues. I needed a streamer in a lot of those. I don't mind Mitch Trubisky this week as a streamer. He might be able to get you 2 touchdowns, 250 yards, and just nice, easy points, no turnovers. That's kind of what we're going to be hoping for. But it will be the David Montgomery show. Lions are the worst team when it comes to stopping the run. So it's going to be David
Montgomery. I think the second worst team at least in terms of yards allowed. They are the second worst defense in football from the statistical standpoint.
It's like humiliating because we have I don't know if you knew this, but we have a defensive genius as a coach.
I heard that.
Well, I don't know who we heard it from.
Well, apparently the Bears have an offensive genius as their coach. So I mean,
well, he understood his mistake and he righted the ship.
Took him a long time.
Matt Patricia, we're still waiting on Matt Patricia to figure out that rushing 3 and dropping 8 in this bend don't break defense is not going to get it done. Oh. Yeah. I hate Matt Patricia.
So you say you're not betting on that one. Miami at Indianapolis. Miami, as terrible as they are, they have, other than the Ravens game, how often are they blown out? Like the whole game. They keep it scary quite frequently, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all we gave them so much crap just after that loss. And then after they just kept bleeding their team away to other things. But they got the victory. They beat a Jets team that beat a Cowboys team. So, they can play football. You knew Brian Flores wasn't going to come in here and try to go 0-16 his first season. Doesn't matter anything. They still can get the first draft pick if they can beat Cincinnati in Week 16. So it's not even like they're out of the running for that or anything like that nature. So I like Miami. I like them to stay within 10 points this week too. Cover.
I think that's a perfect line, though. I expect it to be some kind of like a 24-14, 27-17.
Brian Hoyer's not that good. I don't know.
No, the Dolphins still do have the worst defense in all football.
True.
The Marlon Mack show, we all know that's going to happen. You're not sitting him no matter what. Mm-hmm. You're going to start Pascal with Hoyer because Hoyer is fine and he has a lack of options. What do you think about the tight ends, Ebron and Doyle versus the Dolphins here? Tight ends obviously, is a nightmare. if you had an option, like it doesn't matter. Let's just say only one of them were available. Would you start either of them against the Dolphins here this week?
Yes, absolutely. I like Doyle a lot. I like Doyle to come out and get a good connection with Hoyer, find the end zone, maybe twice. Not a lot of receptions, not a lot of yards, but the red zone target, he's going to be in there.
Are either of these guys someone you consider starting if you were on, let's just say you were the George Kittle owner and someone grabbed your backup options and you either were taking a 0 or starting someone today? Would you consider either the Colts guys in this Miami game?
I absolutely would. Jack Doyle. I'm pretty sure I mentioned him when we were talking about it originally. I like Jack Doyle. I don't mind him.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I like Eric Ebron. But because I say this, Eric Ebron will probably go catch 2 touchdowns.
Yep. On the Miami side, Preston Williams being gone. Devontae Parker is actually a completely legitimate person to start every week at this point. And I do like Mike Gesicki. Yeah. I think that with all the other lack of options at this point, he actually hasn't been too bad. And he's starting to get a little better. So he's someone I don't mind throwing in there for the rest of the season, actually.
And not even just like for the rest of the season or just Gesicki purposes, Indianapolis is the 4th worst team when it comes in fantasy points average out to tight end. So you have a good matchup if you're starting Gesicki. I don't mind him. I said earlier I didn't like him, but I don't mind him.
Yep, I actually like him quite a bit. Rams at Steelers. This should be a good one, actually, even though regardless of the injury to James Conner, which would have made it a lot tougher on the Rams, Pittsburgh is not the easiest place to play. The Rams are banged up on their own. What do you think of this one? The Steelers here are trying to kind of sneak their way into a respectable season. They're doing a lot better than what it looked like it could have been. They're proving to be a little harder to take down than many thought. So, LA and Pittsburgh, I think defensively are fairly close. And the main difference between the two being the Rams, even without Brandon Cooks, is very good coming out of a bye week. So do we think the Rams coming out of a bye week can go into Pittsburgh and just stomp them? Or do you think Pittsburgh at home will, kind of remain respectable?
No, I'm gonna go with the former on this one. I think the Rams are gonna put an ass whooping on the Steelers. The Steelers have won 3 in a row to get to 4-4, whatever it is, 5-5 or whatever. Good for them. They beat the Chargers, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Colts without Jacoby Brissett. Like I'm not sold on these Steelers because they beat 3 shitty ass teams. Good for you guys. Go out and beat the Rams, and I'll start to have confidence in Mason Rudolph. I don't have confidence in Mason Rudolph right now. I don't have confidence in Juju this week. I have the only confidence I have is coming out of the running back position. I don't mind James Washington so much, but because Deontay Johnson didn't have that great of a game last week, it's probably going to be him to have the good game this week and Washington to kind of get left in the dust. And that'll just be an ongoing rotation. So you're always going to be chasing points, but you always want to be thinking ahead and not chase those points. So
I kind of like Vance McDonald to have an okay game here. Again, this has to do with tight end sucking, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could be a top 12 tight end this week.
It's not hard to do. You know what? You really need to separate it into top 6 and then the next 12.
So I don't think McDonald's a top 6 tight end this week.
Because the difference between 1 and 6 and the difference between 7 and 50 is probably like the same, right?
Yes, I think you are correct on that, actually.
And who do you like to win this one?
Okay. Yes, Rams heavily. They're gonna put an ass whooping on it. So give me the Rams 30-30. Give me the Steelers 9.
One thing people don't, if you haven't looked it up, I don't know if you've heard about this. It's been reported, but Aaron Donald has himself quite a record playing at Heinz Field. So Mason Rudolph could be on his heels quite a bit in this one. I mean, not that you need me to tell you Aaron Donald could put on a show, but he is historically very good in Pittsburgh. Carolina at Green Bay. Lambeau, Green Bay is favored by, I don't know, all of my numbers here. These were up 2 hours ago. I have Green Bay at -5, but you have the odds it's something a little different on your end. What do you have?
I do.
A couple of these, at least from my screen. I haven't announced them because you have said what the odds were, but I have Green Bay at favored by 5 in this one at home.
Well, I was ill prepared to tell you what I had as a thing there, but I have it right there. Okay. So we're talking about the Packers. I have Packers -4.5.
Okay.
That is from Bovada. That's where I do all my betting. I'm going to plug it real quick.
Yeah, I think at home they had their, I don't know if I would call it a wake-up call last week. I don't know what happened versus the Chargers. Again, this isn't sour grapes. I didn't say anything last week. The Chargers are bad, and that had nothing to do with the Chargers being good and everything with the Packers playing a bad game. Hopefully they learn their lesson.
Well, it's always tough to go to the West Coast and play. It really is. It's not an excuse for them. But I'm very happy that it happened for this game, because I think the Packers are going to come back with a huge vengeance this week, which means I'm throwing all my money on the Packers at -4.5. I think they'll easily win by a touchdown. I think they're going to win by plenty.
Yeah, Carolina's defense is not good. They've been relying on turnovers to hang in games. The Packers don't give you many turnovers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to put on an absolute show. The only problem here is Christian McCaffrey. So the Packers obviously have a very big problem stopping the run, and Christian McCaffrey has a very big problem of being awesome.
Very big, yes.
So I think that McCaffrey will have obviously everything in the world stacked up against him. The secondary will really have to do some work in this one. I think the tight end position out of Carolina could do some work here too. So you're starting everyone on the Green Bay side, everybody. Carolina's side, other than Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore is probably going to be seeing, I don't know if he'll definitely see a shadow, but he could be limited somewhat. What do you think of him and Curtis Samuel in this one?
I don't like him. I don't like either of them. I don't like Carolina. I don't like Carolina this week.
I think they'll be committed. I mean, they're always committed to the run, but they'll be extra committed to the run in this one, right? Even if they're down, I think.
I agree 100%. And even when it comes to passing, they're still committed to Christian McCaffrey. So I can't buy into either of the Carolina wide receivers. Curtis Samuel will be the one that I touched if I started one, but that almost came out really bad. So I'm going to try to walk away from that real quick.
Nick's going to touch Curtis Samuel.
Okay, I'll try not to. Curtis Samuel would be the one I'm starting if I had to start one of the two.
Yeah, I definitely like the Packers to cover in this one. I like them by 10 or 13 minimum. I like, this is going to be a good one as a Packers fan, I think. Famous last words. Moving on to the Sunday night game, Minnesota at Dallas. This should be close, I would assume, at first glance. But this is the team. One of the quarterbacks is 0-10-1 record when trailing in the fourth quarter. And that's Kirk Cousins. That's not good. So if it's a close game, and also I believe the stat was was being ahead in the two of these teams, when they're ahead in the fourth quarter, they're undefeated, both of them. So we'll kind of have to see what happens there. Not that means anything for fantasy. This is all just like fake stats, which, by the way, I hate fake stats. Do you hate that, folks, when there's like a stat? It's like the guy on third down when it's 3rd and 4 on a Wednesday I don't know. I mean, it's always so specific.
Baseball's the worst with that, though. Baseball will find the craziest fucking stats.
Oh, yeah. He'll be like, he's batting .317 in his last 46 at bats. Well, how about 40 or 50? How does it change? 46 at bats. Where do you get this?
4 at bats before this last 46. What are we doing?
It's like Jeff Driscoll's like 100% on his last 17 throws. What happened on the 18th throw, Jeff Driscoll?
What's going on? What are we avoiding here?
What are we hiding?
Yeah, those stats are ridiculous. ESPN's great at it. Monday night we'll always find these random ass stats that are just that you look at, you read, and you're like, I did not need to like put that into my brain. Like, I got too many things I got to remember anyway. I got an anniversary, I got birthdays, I got to remember that whoever is throwing this much on this time at this day at 8:47 p.m. with this many stars visible. Like, it's just ridiculous, dude. I can't do it.
So Dalvin Cook, you're starting. I mean, you're starting everyone on the Vikings. You're starting everybody. You're starting everyone on the Cowboys. So there's really nothing to see here. I mean, I'm not starting Kyle Rudolph.
Nope.
That's about it.
Rudolph. I'm not starting Alex Madison. I don't know why you're starting him, but
I said I'd start him over Bilal Powell.
Okay, that's true. Okay. Yeah. But I'm nervous.
I like Dallas to win this game, other than my blind need for the Vikings to lose.
I like Kirk Cousins to suck. I was going to follow it up with a word, but I won't. He's bad. Which, if he's bad, that means Stephon Diggs is going to be yet again shitty. And for all Stephon Diggs owners, you're either getting one catch for 4 yards or you're getting 4 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. there's no in between. There's no consistency with him. I think this is going to be a week where you're not going to get good stats out of him. I want to sit him. To be honest, I want to sit Stephon Diggs. I'm not, but I want it.
Here, I think the big difference in this one is there's two quarterbacks. One of them does very well in primetime games, Dak Prescott. One of them does not, Kirk Cousins, as far as pressure goes. So I think in Dallas, this is definitely I would take Dallas to win. Amari Cooper, we said he's banged up. He's playing. He's facing Xavier Rhodes. You're starting him anyway. Michael Gallup, you're starting. Everyone else, you're starting. So, I mean, there's nothing really here. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. But there's really nothing to know in this one. And then that leads us to Monday night, Seattle at San Francisco, which should be one hell of a game. San Francisco favored by 6. Last time I checked here at home. I think that's a bit much against Seattle, who's not getting a lot of respect in this one. Obviously, Seattle's strength mirrors San Francisco's strength running versus run defense. So do we think that Russell Wilson, who obviously is a must-start like always, can march into San Francisco and hang an L on them?
I do. I especially like them to cover 6, 100%. I don't know what's going on. Like I like Tyler Lockett for sure, but I'm not really starting DK Metcalf. I'm not starting Josh Gordon in his debut. Like I'm not starting those guys. But I do think that Seattle can get the job done. And that's more because I'm still not bought into San Francisco yet. So until I buy into them, I'm just thinking that every game could be that first loss. So
obviously George Kittle, if he's out, that would make a big difference in this one. I mean, even though he's probably the MVP so far, Russell Wilson, I'm worried about his weapons because San Francisco can get to Russell Wilson without blitzing. Therefore, they can drop more back and make it a lot more difficult for anyone to be open.
Don't you think Russell Wilson, though, knows how to beat Richard Sherman? If there's anyone that's going to, like, bad, it's Russell Wilson after practicing with him for so long.
I do. I think this will be a really good game. It'll come.
Thank God we need a good Monday night game. So
yeah, well, I don't know how entertaining it'll be, but it'll be good as far as like
pretty entertaining.
Well, it depends on what you consider entertaining. Some people like shootouts. I mean, I find a good like strategic defensive battle to be entertaining, and then so you can come up with the big plays, which I think will favor obviously Russell Wilson. Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Still good.
But it should be good because Seattle, if they have any real problem, is they're allowing 25 and a little over 25.5 points a game. So even though San Francisco, we've seen them hang a couple of big numbers on teams, that's usually due to their defense putting them in a position to do so. I don't see Seattle turning over the ball much, even though Chris Carson has a knack for doing so. So I will take Seattle to cover. I think I'll take Seattle to win. But I agree with what you said. I'm not confident starting anyone outside of Wilson and Lockett.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Chris Carson, though?
Because I like him. I know the matchup's not there. Like,
you have to start him, right? Doesn't matter who.
Start him, right? Exactly. And to everyone who is starting him, not confident, I'll try to give you a little bit of confidence. Like this is got weird written all over it. This whole game does. The game is not going to go the way that everyone thinks the game goes. However you think the game goes, not you specifically, but whoever's listening, however you think that game is going to go, it will go different. I promise you. It's got that vibe to it. So I don't mind Chris Carson. And I bet he's the top fantasy scorer out of both backfields.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't that actually wouldn't shock me at all. So that is we've actually made it all the way through the games, which is kind of stunning because I'm usually the dragging ass all the way here. So I tried doing it a little faster today, and we've made it
on the show, man. We get it going.
Get it going here.
Not a true statement. If you listen to the Daily Blitz, we forever.
So we had some questions asked to us that I actually have been taking some notes down, like on Twitter. Do we think, as far as who do we think after this week could get fired?
Hope Matt Patricia.
What? Well, let's say if you had to pick one person to get fired, one.
I had to pick one person to get fired. And to be all honest, I'm going
with Freddie. I'm going with Freddie Kitchens.
I think it should be Freddie, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be Dan Quinn.
All right, that's a good one too. Mitchell Trubisky, if they lose this one against Detroit,
he should be fired.
Do you think he takes a seat?
You would think that would be the logical thing to do, but Matt Nagy seems to be anything but logical. So no, I don't.
With him being a former number 2 pick and them really fighting for nothing, I think they have to. There's no reason to bench him. I mean, people are asking, should he be benched? There's no advantage to benching him. They don't have anything backing him up that they're hoping to see. All they can do is give him every single shot this year to try to show him something, either to give him a reason to give him another shot next year or to rebuild value to trade him. But either way, benching him does nothing.
Did you know he was drafted before Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson?
I heard a rumor.
It's unbelievable. It's
can't believe they did that. Ryan Finley, do you think that this is a week where he can show enough to excite Bengals fans, where if they are tanking or they're just terrible, that maybe they can afford to make a trade and then pick an offensive lineman in the first round rather than going to a quarterback? Do you think Ryan Finley has the ability in his first game out with no tape on him to excite the Cincinnati fan base, excite fantasy owners, that him with all those weapons and AJ Green possibly coming back, that Ryan Finley could be a thing?
No.
I said all that buildup. You know what? That's why I had the exciting buildup, just so you can shoot me down.
Yeah. No, man, come on. Like Ryan Finley, like if it was against anyone but Baltimore, yeah, I could see him coming out this week and giving him a win, which actually I think would upset all the Bengal fans. So actually, to answer your question, yes, I think he does offer hope to them because they will see that they are going to have to go draft a quarterback in the first round and that he should lead them to the promised land of 0-16 in the first pick. So I think there's some confidence in the Bengals fans for that, but I don't see Ryan Finley doing anything this week. I have him in my chair on the charity league though.
The Bills, we mentioned them earlier in the show, they are susceptible on the ground. They have a fantastic secondary. They're a great defense all around. Nick Chubb in 3 of his last 5 games have gone for over 100 yards, and he's a beast. In redraft, if your trade deadline hasn't come up yet, if you could try to move Chubb and maybe a bench piece you're not using and upgrade that running back position, there's not that many guys you consider upgrade. Are you worried about Kareem Hunt coming in and messing up Nick Chubb's season for the playoffs? Like, this is not dynasty. This is redraft only. Like, if you can turn him into Zeke, or obviously Christian McCaffrey's untouchable, but if you can get some kind of like a more of a sure thing, and you could pair Chubb up with just a quality bench guy just to put you over the top, is Nick Chubb a guy you're worried about and someone you're maybe hoping to move? Or is it just Nick Chubb is awesome, you think that the cream will rise to the top here?
I think the latter. I think that so before season, I don't want anything to do with Chubb because I did think once this happened, Hunt was going to come back and kind of start to take opportunities. By the way, my daughter is waking up. I can hear her. So at one point she's about to come up here or start screaming. But question,
or both.
Question at hand, I would try to trade away Nick Chubb. I'm not too worried about Kareem Hunt, but I do think there are better options out there than Nick Chubb. And I think if you can get Josh Jacobs and or maybe someone else along with Josh Jacobs for Nick Chubb, then I would make that trade. I would absolutely try to flip them into a Zeke or a CMC or a Cook or those guys. I don't mind Chubb, but I think if you can get better options, yeah, I'm always going to be looking to upgrade my team. But I'm not freaking out like I have to trade away Chubb right now because I don't think Hunt's going to jump in with 15 carries a game, 10 carries a game. I think he's going to be limited more to 5-6 carries a game, which isn't going to be too much of a bite into what Chubb was doing.
Yep. Question we had here against Drew Brees against the Falcons.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to get from this one. He just wants to know if the Falcons are going to be able to in game script wise, maybe wise, is Drew Brees someone you should consider going another direction? I'd say absolutely not. The Saints have a great offensive line. Atlanta has no pass rush. He's going to be able to sit back and pick them back the whole time. I know you mentioned earlier in the show, you were talking about maybe throwing Ted Ginn out there. I do know that this could be a bad game script, but Drew Brees doesn't need a lot of time in order to put up a lot of fantasy points on the Falcons.
Right. I agree. I like Drew Brees a lot. Nothing much more to say about that.
Let's say you own Sam Darnold and you own Danny Dimes. Who are you starting? One versus one in that in the Giants Jets, the battle for mediocre New York football teams. you had to start one, and you started in this one.
Oh man, New York versus New York and New Jersey. Like, give me Danny.
Dimes is missing his two best, in theory, his two best passing options, while Sam Darnold is getting one of his better ones back. The Giants do have the worst defense.
Wait, Le'Veon Bell playing or no? 100%. Do we have confirmation?
You know what? I'm going to look that up right now. I'll let you talk more about that.
Well, the fact is, if Le'Veon Bell is playing, I would rather have Danny Dimes. But if he's not playing, I actually think that it's be a little bit more of a passing attack for Sam Darnold. I'll take Sammy over Danny Dimes. So that's where my difference is.
It looks like according to Le'Veon Bell, he's good to go.
Yep, does look like that. Easily saying it. He's tweeting it out. By the way, I'm playing tomorrow. See y'all at MetLife. Go Le'Veon Bell. Yeah.
Between those two, I am starting Darnold. It could be blind optimism. We talked about earlier how we think the Jets got embarrassed and they could come back big in this one. I think that I like all the passing options in this one. So I think Le'Veon Bell is still banged up, even though he's in there. I think that Darnold will finally have a game where he can look good. So if I'm picking between the two, I'm starting Darnold over Jones.
Okay, now I got a question for you. Rank these three.
Yep.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. Rank them.
You ranked them for me.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. So not a Halloween guy.
Christmas 1A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and O, P. Then Thanksgiving. Then Halloween.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious, bro. So Halloween, do you ever dress up or do you get into costume or anything?
No, not recently. I mean, we just go to the end of our driveway and with a fire pit, give out some candy.
But you gotta wear the jersey though, right? You got your Packers helmet on?
I'll have a pirate hat maybe.
Okay, right on.
But no, I like Halloween. It's fine. I don't have kids. So I think if I did, and when my nieces and nephews are around, that'd be a lot more exciting. They're in Florida. So,
Okay, I was just curious.
Christmas would be one no matter what, though. Anyone who celebrates Christmas, who doesn't have Christmas number one, is just missing something. You know what? Christmas is one. Christmas Eve is one. Christmas is two. I love Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is the best.
Eve is the best. That's the best, man. That is the best. I agree 100%.
It's Christmas after the morning. It's
yeah. A lot of build up.
Christmas Eve, you can enjoy the whole day.
The whole day, and for me, Dad and I stay up late, and we just watch Christmas Story over and over, and we just drink whiskey and beer and have a great old time, and it's a great tradition. I love Christmas Eve. You're right. I do agree with that 100%.
Do we think Cliff Kingsbury will be able to really abuse the Tampa Bay defense this week? I know we talked about the Drake and David Johnson thing. I would hope he has something creative to use them both. Yeah. Christian Kirk, by the way, and DFS, it's getting late in the day. He's got to be one of the best values in DK all day long. But score-wise, what are we thinking? We didn't really go over this game for very long. I don't remember going over this game, period.
I think we just talked about David Johnson the whole time.
Yeah, so, what do you think of this one? Just Tampa Bay versus Arizona.
What do I think of this game? Where's the line set at? I was trying to think.
I think I skipped over this game, to be honest. I don't think we talked about this one.
I tell you.
Right now I have Tampa Bay. It's in Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay by 4 is the latest line I saw.
Tampa Bay by 4. That's hefty. Give me Arizona. I got Arizona +5. So, yeah, give me Arizona. I think this will be a high-scoring game. I think we're going to see a nice, 29-27 Buccaneers win. But I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think Kyler Murray is a great start. Like I said, I don't mind the Cardinals' defense so much just because they have the opportunity to pick off Winston and hopefully take one to the house. But I love Godwin. I love Evans. I love
41-35 Buccaneers.
I love that score. Please. I hope Ronald Jones gets a couple touchdowns because I have to start him in the league this week. So
hey, Cardinals almost took down San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay took Seattle to overtime.
Yeah.
I think they're primed for a big game, and they're going to put up some points against each other's mediocre defenses.
I agree 100%. Definitely taking but the over is set at 52 right now. That's pretty high. But yeah, with 51.5 for the over, I would probably take the over for sure in this game.
Yeah, someone asked, will Aaron Rodgers bounce back against Carolina? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will Pittsburgh be able to score enough against the Rams?
Nobody. Score enough to what? Not lose their franchise? Like,
I think score enough to keep up with them.
No, not at all. And like I said, Rams are going to win this one heavily. This is in LA, right? No, this is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, you know what? I guess I didn't realize that this whole time, too. I was talking about how the Rams are going to whip them. It is going West Coast going to East Coast, and that is always tough to do. I wouldn't be shocked to see Pittsburgh kind of keep up with them in the first half, but I think the Rams run away with it in the second half.
Yeah.
Aren't the Steelers coming off a bye? No, they are not coming off a bye.
The Rams are coming off a bye.
Oh, okay. So they've probably been in the – give me the Rams heavily. Like I originally said, I'm not going back on my word. Give me the Rams heavy, 30-9. I'm pretty sure I called this score.
Trying to see here. Packers defense. They started off the year. They looked so good. And then they had a big hole obviously shown in their armor when they just have this weird drop back with all their corners, like where they're just soft coverage. I mean, there was this great screenshot of it was like 3rd and 1 and they dropped back. They weren't playing any of the wide receivers at the line and they were just giving away a first down. It's just very odd. Like they can't learn their lesson. So, I mean, is this something they're saying? Should we be worried about the Packers defense? For sure. I'm not starting them anywhere and I haven't for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Mm-hmm. They are designed to not give up big plays, even though they do still sometimes, but they are not designed to prevent yards. The yards are going to be on them all the time, but they do make big plays defensively. I mean, they've allowed the 5th highest yards per play, and that's basically because they'll give you anything less than 5 yards. They'll just give it to you. So we mentioned earlier that where Christian McCaffrey is obviously you start them versus like it literally the Avengers. It doesn't matter. But Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore, we weren't that sold on. But
hilarious, man. Underappreciated right there. I would start Christian McCaffrey against the Avengers. I'm glad you said that.
And because mostly I'm worried about the people in that intermediate yards. I think Greg Olsen could have himself a game. I think Curtis Samuel, like you said earlier, of anyone, I think he'd be more dangerous. DJ Moore, I'm not touching at all. So I know we already covered this a little earlier. But as far as just the Packers defense, is this something – I mean, you see it. I'm a Packers fan, so maybe I'm a little biased. Although I did say that I obviously am quite worried about it. Just going forward, is this something that you think will be a huge problem for them? Obviously, it's going to be good for Aaron Rodgers if Matt LaFleur can't try to rely on the nothing but running the ball if they're going to have to keep up scoring.
Yeah, I do see it being a problem, and they shocked the world in the first couple games, but they played some pretty bad teams in the first couple games. So maybe the Packers defense was never really as good as we all wanted them to be. They just played Mitch Trubisky, who makes every defense look amazing. I think that there's a little bit of a problem. I think that it's coming around. I think that Green Bay is building a very talented defense there. But I just can't buy into the bend, don't break type of defense because I'm seeing it firsthand as well. But ours is just not working in any way, shape, or form. At least you guys are stopping some people. We haven't stopped anyone since 1941. So I'm not excited about them, and I'm definitely not starting them in fantasy outside of just decent matchups. Like they are not someone that I'm starting for the rest of the season or anything like that. Defense.
Tay Lucas in the chat. Dan Quinn, going back to where we said he should be fired. He says he's a huge Atlanta fan, but he's got to go. We agree. Yeah, that's just sad. It's just, it's amazing like how many good years Atlanta lost because of bad coaching, just in general, so many years. Yeah. Next question, which is a one that we discussed a little earlier, is Damian Williams back? He was a huge preseason favorite for a lot of people, not myself, admittedly. I didn't like, it's not that I didn't like his talent. I mean, going back to the reasons I didn't like him, he's been on several teams. He was never the guy. I think there was a reason for that. He came over, had a really big year, but he had never been able to even get any kind of even a small workload in his season. So I didn't think he could handle that. Then they brought in Carlos Hyde. Everyone laughed at that. They released him. They brought in LaShawn McCoy. I didn't care who the other running back was. I thought that the other running back would get a lot of work. That being said, Damian Williams started this season with a knee injury for multiple weeks. He came back, didn't have any work. In fact, he didn't even get over 9 carries until last week. LaShawn McCoy fumbles the ball against Green Bay and literally has been put on a milk carton ever since. So is Damian Williams back? I believe so. I mean, it's around that time of the year he took off last year. And I think maybe we could see a mirror image of what we did last season with Damian Williams.
Man, are we about to see? Is this like what we're going to get from D-Will when he's on Kansas City? Is we're just nothing until week 11, week 12, and then all of a sudden it's just going to be a blistering rage of 24 points a game, which is going to be outstanding.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of those players that only do well after the All-Star break in baseball. You don't draft Damian Williams. You trade for Damian Williams around week 7.
There you go. There we go. We figured it out, dude. We solved the curious case of Damian Williams. I think he's back. I think he's going to be good this week, but I'm still a little skeptical just because what we've seen the first 9 weeks. If you've been starting him or if you've rostered him all this time, then you know how nervous you are putting him in your lineup. Do I think he's back? Sure. But do I think that McCoy is gone forever? No, I don't. I think he'll still get a couple opportunities. And once they see that he is still flashy, they'll start giving him again more opportunities. So I don't know. It's really tough for D-Will. I want him to be back, but just after what he's done for me at the beginning of this year and how much I spent to get him and in as many leagues as I did, I'm losing a lot of love for him. So it's hard for me to have confidence in him right now.
All right. So what we got here, we got about 15 minutes left. We're going to go through for anyone who's just tuning in at the very end, want some last minute start sit decisions. We're going to go game by game. Give me one start, one sit. Or you know what? One start or one sit, whatever you think is like your biggest thing of the game. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Who do you think is the best piece of advice, non-obvious start or sit from this game?
Start Alex Erickson.
Yep, and I'll go with start Gus Edwards. It should be obvious to people from now on. They run that ball so much, but they're going to be up big. I think Mark Ingram's not going to get all the work. Lamar Jackson's banged up. Start Gus Edwards in a season where running backs are hard to find.
I just, by the way, went and got Gus Edwards in a lot of leagues. Knock on wood, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just have a sneaking smell that Mark Ingram might be going down with a little bit of an injury soon. So I got Gus Edwards just in case.
That had a really creepy Nancy Kerrigan type vibe to it. What do you know?
See, well, I can't disclose everything, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm advising to get Gus Edwards right now.
Bills at Browns.
Bills at Browns. Sit Baker Mayfield, I guess would be my one. Maybe sit Baker. I don't know, don't expect anything out of OBJ. That's my one. I'm not saying to sit him, but don't expect anything out of him. So if you're in a must-win category, maybe you sit him.
I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but start Devin Singletary. People keeps asking me about him, right?
He's
like,
back.
is like, oh, it's him and Frank Gore. Are we sure? No, Devin Singletary's back.
Yeah.
He's the guy they want to run with, and they love to run the ball. Devin Singletary, absolutely.
Yeah.
Falcons at Saints.
Falcons at Saints. This is a tough one because all of it's pretty much chalk here. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you to go start all the guys that you should for Atlanta, and I don't really think there's anyone that you need to sit.
I think Devontae Freeman you need to sit.
I think that's about the only one. But with this run, if you have Phillip Lindsay and Leonard Fournette and Devontae Freeman, you have to start Freeman. You can't it's tough to sit someone who's starting. I'm not sitting them for Alex Madison. So I mean.
All right, sit. You know what? Sit him if you can.
I guess that's what it is. It's so hard.
Why are you hanging Alexander Madison on me?
I don't know. It just keeps popping in my head. I don't know. We got the Packers. We got the Lions. I feel like we need a Bears and a Vikings person on the show right now.
Giants at Jets.
Giants at Jets. I am starting Sam Darnold.
I'm starting the Jets defense.
Ooh, I like it.
Kansas City at Tennessee.
Kansas City at Tennessee. Start A.J. Brown if you're in kind of a pinch. I think with Corey Davis out, with Delaney Walker out, with this game, could be a big garbage time game for Tennessee. Tannehill doesn't mind throwing to A.J. Brown. We've seen it before. I said it earlier. Start him.
Start Adam Humphries.
That's a good one, too. I've been – man, he has been on my eye all week in these – and with my fab. I don't know what I wanted to I don't know if I could start him. It was that Alex Erickson, Ted Ginn. These are those streamers that I've been sitting here debating. Adam Humphries, all those. Who would you start out of those three? Erickson. Who do we say?
I don't know. Erickson, Humphreys, and who was the rest?
Who was the third one we were talking about? Ted Ginn.
Oh, I'd start Humphreys. I love Humphreys. I mean, I know Jonah comes in for Delaney, but I think that Humphreys has been coming on. I think he is in PPR a great play against the Chiefs here.
Awesome. Right on.
Cardinals at Buccaneers.
Cardinals, Bucks. Start them all, baby.
Yeah, I can't think of a single person I don't want to start.
Yeah.
Who's the Cardinals tight end?
Yeah, for Charles Clay, right?
Sit him.
Fuck it, no, start him. Start them all.
Yeah, fuck it. Start them all.
Start them all, baby.
Start them all. Yeah, I mean, start everyone except for the defenses. There's nothing here we can tell you. This should be a fantastic game. I hope it is. And you know what? It's a game where there's probably not going to be too many turnovers because neither teams are really available. Patrick Peterson hasn't looked like himself. You know, I think this could be a really good one. Detroit.
I feel like this might be a game where Patrick Peterson does come alive a little bit, to be honest.
Yep. Detroit at Chicago.
I don't know. Sit Marvin, that's for sure.
Yeah, sit Marvin goes. I say, definitely start TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, there you go.
Although, I mean, it's a cheat code to tell you to start a tight end because you can start any tight end, but start TJ Hawkinson. Miami at Indianapolis.
Start him. Heard.
I already said earlier. Start Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki. Sorry, Mark too. His brother. Does he have a brother? Start them both.
Yeah. Wait, what game? Sorry, my daughter's yelling.
Miami at Indy.
Miami at Indy. I am starting Jack Doyle.
Yeah, love it. Rams at Steelers.
I am sneaky starting Trey Edmonds. I'm telling you, man, sneaky start. Watch out for him to take the reins here in the Pittsburgh backfield. He's a better running back. He's a better runner than Jalen Samuels.
I'm gonna go ahead and sit Robert Woods.
That's good. I like that.
Carolina at Green Bay.
Carolina at Green Bay.
We kind of went over almost every player in this one.
Yeah, for real. I'm sitting Jimmy Graham.
I'm sitting Jimmy Graham. I mean, all right, I don't know. I'm sitting Geronimo Allison. Is that the route we're taking in this one?
I guess so. We talked about everyone else already. Starting Aaron Jones. I am starting Jamal Williams in our charity league. If anyone is debating on if they should do that or not. I'm starting Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams on the same team. Ooh, that's risky. My buddy just did that with who? The Chargers on Thursday.
Oh, that worked out.
Oh, hey, Bruno.
Minnesota at Dallas.
Minnesota, Dallas. Give me sit Stephon Diggs.
You're gonna literally sit Stephon Diggs?
Mm-hmm. I'm about to do it right now. I'm on my phone right now.
Really?
Yeah.
For who? Who you putting in?
I don't know. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let's see.
All right, everybody. We have Nick here about to sit Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs sucks, man. He's really bad. I don't know if anyone knew that, but he's really, really, really bad. For Stephon Diggs, I can start.
You're not gonna sit Stephon Diggs.
I don't really have much to start. Cole Beasley. All right, Cole Beasley, Kenny Stills, Alex Erickson, Stephon Diggs.
Like I said, you're not sitting Stephon Diggs.
All right, David Johnson or Damian Williams?
Damian Williams.
Oh, really? No, I got Johnson. I can't.
I can. Oh, that's a terrible game, though.
That Tampa Bay will give me so many points, I think.
You got to start David Johnson. Well, hold on. Why can't you start them both?
Josh Jacobs or Jalen Samuels. Okay.
Josh Jacobs already started.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs is done. That's why I couldn't. But I actually have Jalen Samuels, too. So Jalen Samuels or Damian Williams?
Oh, Damian Williams.
You think?
I do.
Oh, that's so scary. I got 7 minutes to decide. We got to end the show. I got to figure this shit out.
We can end a little early. We got 8 minutes to go. We covered everything. We're bleeding everyone dry with extra information. If you have any extra questions, shoot us on Twitter. You can find me at Matt Williams, METTWY77IMS. Nick, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at Nick Faber, NFL. I am always dealing with my daughter crying, so I'm happy when I get questions about fantasy football that I can get my brain away. So, yes, please hit me up.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on FFMercs Live. We'll be back next week. See you, everybody.
Peace.